Hi BookTube. I'm here to share with you the books I plan to read in April. These are some of my favorite videos to film and watch because you're starting like basically a blank slate, and there's so much potential there for some great reads, and so I had fun digging through my shelves to select my books. That being said, it's a smaller selection of books than I typically read, although I am participating in 3 readathons. I am a co-host for a read-along of the John Bellairs series, and so the first book we're starting with in the month of April is The House with a Clock in Its Walls. And I forgot to mention on my announcement video that we are planning on doing a live stream towards the end of the month. We haven't nailed down a date yet, discussing this book. So please feel free to join me and then join in the live discussion. These are children like gothic horror stories. But they don't sound, too dark and scary. But these are brand new books for me. I am like entering these with not any knowledge at all, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what this has to hold. And then I'm going to be participating in Amish in April, and that is hosted by Elizabeth over at Lizzie Faye Loves Books and Sarah at the Bookish Knitter. I'll leave a link in the description below to all of the hosts for all these different events. And when I was looking through my shelves, I don't have a single book that is Amish related. I have in the previous years been able to read them, but I've read them all. So I'm going to be digging through my library to see what I can find, and then I'll just share them with you during like some weekly TBRs or wrap-ups or whatever. But I do plan on reading several Amish books. I remember discovering like the world of Amish and that whole religion and culture back in middle school, and just reading a bunch of books when I had discovered them. So yeah, I'm always like kind of like not enamored, but fascinated by by that world. And then for the first time, I'm going to be participating in, I want to say it's People in April, or April People, something like that. And this is where you're going to be focusing on anything that is about a person. So you could do biography, autobiography, memoirs, letters, and that kind of thing. For those, I do have quite a few books to pick from. So I have a stack here to share with you. And so the first one is by an author you might recognize, Mary McCarthy. This is her autobiography of how it's called How I Grew. And this is about kind of a relatively short time in her life, from age 13 to 21. And yet it covers quite a bit. So it's talking about Minneapolis, Seattle, New York, a seminary in Tacoma, and Vassar College in Poughkeepsie. So there's a lot in here for that sort of time. But yeah, fascinated to read about her life outside of the books. So there's that one. And then I'm going to be reading North with the Spring by Teal. And I'm like blanking on his name, for Edwin Way Teal. Like, I know his name. But this doesn't have a cover, but I'll just show you. I think there's an illustration at the very front part. Maybe. If I can. No. It's just writing. But there is a map here, because this is about there's 4 books, and they're like the Season Quartet or something. I can't remember the title, the name of the series, but this is the first book in the series actually. And him and his wife, he's a nature writer, and he goes all over America and like travels through the season. And so in this one, let me see here if it shows. So for the North with the Spring, he traveled 17,000 miles. And so for this book, he stayed on the East Coast, and all the red is all of where he traveled. So all the way from Vermont and New Hampshire all the way down to like Miami. And each book has a different path, a different journey. So yeah, looking forward to this one. I've read, I think, 2 or 3. So this might be the last book in the series, if not. I think I've read them all. So yeah, once I read this one, I would like to like go through the season and like reread these. It would be great. Let's see here. Then I have a diary collection. This is Lucy Breckenridge of Grove Hill, the Journal of a Virginia Girl, 1862 to 1864. And here's a picture of her there. And I have never heard of this author, but let's see. She was 19 years old in Virginia, and it's her frustrations and despair with the passive role of women during the Civil War. So yeah, interesting to see what her insight is like, going through the Civil War. And then I have, going from diary, I have a letter collection, the letter book by Elizabeth Lucas Pinckney. 1739 to 1762. So, you know, going back 100 years from this, this is all about colonial America. Again, this is another author I've never heard of before, but I'm interested in her insight into that world. And so for this one, let's see, where's she living? Let's see, one of the most distinguished women of colonial America. She pioneered large-scale cultivation of indigo in South Carolina, managed her father's extensive plantation holdings, and raised two sons who would become celebrated patriots of the new nation. Okay, so yeah, there's that one. And then the last one here, although if I get through these, I might read more because I have a bunch on my shelves that are related to people in April. This is Without Reservations by Alice Steinbeck. And this is a travel memoir. And let's see, she is going to Paris and Oxford, England, Milan. Let's see, yeah, I think it's just those 3 locations. But yeah, I don't read enough travel memoirs, I think, considering how many there are written. So yeah, I've never heard of this author or this book, but it says the travels of an independent woman. So maybe she's traveling alone during this, which is interesting as well. So yeah, those are the books I plan to read in April. Was that all? Every time I do a TBR video, I do want to preface with I do plan on reading more books than this, but these are the focus of what I want to read. But yeah, let me know if you're going to be participating in any of these readathons, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks, BookTube.